And, I was just thinking about something. We know that when we look out in the economy, uh, things are pretty bad. And a lot of people are struggling right now. They're struggling, struggling on the table. There's a lot of struggle that's taking place. However, in spite of all of the calamity that's going on, there's always going to be opportunities. Opportunities for those who are willing to put in the work. And if you're willing to put in the work, uh, the opportunities that's going to present themselves are going to be immense. We'll always say over and over and over again, find a need and fill it. Because if you find a need and fill it, uh, then it's going to help to get you through hard times. Uh, I like to watch, in particularly, a guy named Gerald Salente, and he posts trends in the news, and there's going to be a lot of trends um, that are taking place, like the organic trend, uh, the basic food trend. I mean, if you know how to grow some food, you know how to produce some food with all of the high prices in the stores. I mean, particularly, I'm looking at the price of peppers, right? You talking about now? This is for the GMO stuff. You talking about 98 cents a pepper? I was in Walmart. I meant to do a video on Walmart the other day, but I was looking at the prices of certain things. Like a bag of organic rice is now $10. I remember I was able to get it for like $4.75, $5. It's doubled in price. Certain canned goods have doubled and tripled in price. Uh, I was looking at uh, the price of wild caught salmon. You talking about one slice of wild caught salmon? You talking about $8, $9 a slice? These prices are ridiculous. Um, Everything is going up. We use grapeseed oil and coconut oil. I don't use coconut oil for cooking. I use it for oil for my body. But I remember, and this is why it's so important to store stuff. I always store it. And we always store coconut oil, grapeseed oil, because these are the staples that we use constantly. Organic flour. You can't grow everything. I mean, there's certain staples that you're going to need to continue to store. Um, Pasta, um, rice, um, beans. Um, I still have a ton of beans and I got to do a video of unpacking beans that I put in a Ziploc shrink wrapped or whatever you call it, put it in Mylar bags 10 years ago. Uh, I'm gonna open that stuff up and see how good it is. But organic beans that I purchased, lentils and all that stuff, um, these things are very, very, very expensive now. Um, and there's certain things that's just not going to be able to be avoided. I mean, we still have to purchase those basic staples like pasta, rice, flour, sugar. Um, we store powdered milk now, and I try and buy pretty much organic everything. If we're going to be buying pasta, we get the organic pasta. If we're going to be buying the rice, we get the stuff organic. Um, but these prices are doubling and tripling. It's just amazing to see how much this stuff costs as opposed to how much it was um, 4 or 5 years ago. And this is indicative, and this is the sign of the times. This is the inflation that's taking place. Um, and there's not pretty much a lot that folks are gonna be able to do about it. And this is why it's so important to have that cushion, that buffer, that that is there. So um, when prices do go up, we're all going to be affected, but it's like we're minimally affected. I mean, I just now recently got to finish because I store. gas and them gas containers. I remember those gas containers um, to store gas, the 5 gallon gas, canisters, they're going for like 25, 30, $40 a container now. Um, I remember these times uh, when you can get them for 10, 15, $20. But I store at least 100 gallons on hand. I like to make sure that I have at least the ability to fill up my truck at least 3 times. Um, but I'm telling you, man, these prices and the stuff that's going up as a direct result of it, it's just crazy. But there's nothing that you're gonna do about it, but just get ahead of it. And that's why I just thank y'all to having the ears to hear and the eyes to see what's going on and how to correctly prepare for uh, the hard times that are taking place today. Because a lot of people, it's so many people that are behind on the 8 ball when it comes to these things, to storing um, these goods and services that are critical. And recently I was able to get the other 2 cabins, put the electric in it, um, wire it up and everything, and put the plumbing in it. It was a lot of work, but it's done. And now I got to see what the electric bill is going to be, because the largest expense that I'm going to take on next is definitely going to be that in purchasing that straight out. So we don't have to worry about um, electricity, because electricity is going up. Our electric bill probably is about $150 a month, because everything is pretty much ran off of 110. Anything that we have is plug in. Our heat is off grid when it comes to the wood stoves. Uh, and I thank the Father. I got into a deal where um, we have a tree company that dumps wood on the land, so we don't have to worry about um, the price of wood going up. But that's going to go up, and so we've hedged ourselves against that. And what I've been able to do is just put large piles of wood next to each cabin. So, um, and I was able to invest in a wood splitter as well. These things are just so critical to have um, on hand. It's so critical to have on hand. Um, sorry. It's just so critical to have on hand stuff like that. Wood stove, solar, um, well water. Um, I've started to even store more water. I got a place where I can get those office cooler, them 5 gallon jugs. They have an office cooler. I can get an unlimited supply of those, and I pick those up every once in a while. Um, but these basic things, we just got to just deal with the basics. A lot of people, um, they focus on all types of extravagant things. What I've always tried to do um, is focus on the basics in terms of water, basics, pastas, rice, sugars, and spices. I store a lot. We store a lot of spices because, you can have, uh, we got the lamb and the ground lamb and the venison, the deer, the goat, the chicken. And I'll tell you, man, spices and sauces. That you can make. Um, it really does. Uh, it really does provide a good, tasty meal when you're able to have these things. So that's why it's just so important just to stick to the basics and just having the eyes to see what's going on so that we can continue to store, um, to have that buffer, making sure that you have at least, I try and make sure at least I have like a year's worth of supply of food on hand. I know I have more than that, but at least that to make sure that we can ration things out. Because me personally, I'll probably eat um, one meal a day. Truly, I mean, yeah, I just don't have a large appetite. But it's so important to make sure because you got children and they eat up a storm. I got my son and my daughters. They love to chomp down, but we try and the wife. We recently purchased a homemade bread maker, so she's making more bread instead of purchasing bread. So we know it's organic. We know what's going in it. And them bread makers, they're cheap at Walmart. You can buy a cheap bread maker. Um, but it's just so important to source these things and get them so that you can from an investment term dollar cost average into these things uh, so that you're not having to spend as much. Um, but hey, that's just how we do it. This is how we get it done. Uh, because a lot of people they're going to suffer. They're going to suffer hard. Their families are going to suffer hard because they have failed to do what it takes to to store up. That's why it's so important to store up. I mean, just start a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. Before you know it, you have something to, hedge yourself, just in case something happens. But y'all stay encouraged. All right, y'all bless. Store, store, store.